That's right, Scott. They really hit this fire hard this afternoon and were able to get a line around 90% of the fire. And tonight they're feeling pretty confident. Now, we talked to one homeowner who was evacuated earlier this afternoon, and he says he saw someone go into the forest, and then just minutes later, he saw smoke. And the Arizona Cardinals were not the only conference champion this offseason practicing here in Flagstaff. The NAU women's soccer team also had a chance to practice. Legislators are not the only people at the Capitol who tweet on a daily basis. Perhaps the top tweeter works on the top floor of the executive tower. This two-lane section of Highway 260 will someday be upgraded to a four-lane divided highway. Lankett quit his job and went to a monastery to try and find some direction. And one night, he found it. Firefighters will look to get more fire line and more containment overnight as the winds die down and the fires lay down for the evening. I'm here with head coach Jerome Sowers. And coach, so far in the first half, aggressive defense, but getting a few penalties on it. How are we going to change that coming into halftime? Some of that subtropical moisture will lift its way up with the low pressure system, a chance for some showers Sunday morning. Before we share those stories, intense winds have made for dangerous driving conditions in the Northland. The Arizona Department of Transportation, well, obviously we've got a new weather system moving into the Northland. Lee Bourne joins us now. Lee, what in the world is going on causing all the wind?
But first, 7 fires start almost simultaneously near Flagstaff late this afternoon. More than 4 dozen homes forced to evacuate, one house completely destroyed. Patrick Walker joins us now live from Flag with the latest on these awfully suspicious fires. Right, Patrick?
That's right, Scott. They really hit this fire hard this afternoon and were able to get a line around 90% of the fire. And tonight they're feeling pretty confident. Now, we talked to one homeowner who was evacuated earlier this afternoon, and he says he saw someone go into the forest, and then just minutes later, he saw smoke. And with all of the fire in the area, officials are expecting arson.
Yeah, I wish it was bigger.
When Darren Russell saw smoke in the forest near his home, he grabbed his fire extinguisher and tried to put the fire out.
There was a big log on fire, so I just started spraying the fire extinguisher right on the log and on the grass until it ran out.
But what could be even scarier, Russell thinks he saw the man who started these fires drive by in a truck.
I came on out by the house really slowly and looked at me kind of odd. And I went on by, and just then I looked up in the forest and I saw a plume of smoke.
7 small fires, burning over 50 acres. Firefighters ferociously attacked this fire with a helicopter and air tankers dropping fire retardant. About 100 firefighters gained control in just a few hours, but not before one home was lost.
House burned all the way up in, which is about probably 3/4 of the mile up in the corner where the fire started.
About an hour ago, the evacuation order was lifted, but for a moment, panic set in on those who had to leave their homes.
When I left, the smoke was up along the power lines up there, which is about 200 yards from my house.
Forest Service officials are saying arson is highly likely.
Until that investigation comes out, we can't be 100% sure, but it's suspicious in origin when you get 7 starts.
And the Coconino County Sheriff's Office is looking for a person of interest. His name is O'Brien Wilson Key. He's described as a Native American, 20 years old, 5'8", 140 pounds. If you have any information on where Key might be located, the Coconino County Sheriff's Office asks that you give them a call. Live in Flagstaff, Patrick Walker, 12 News.
Wildlife vehicle collisions are a problem everywhere in the world.
And Arizona Game and Fish research biologist Jeff Gagnon says a creative solution was needed to minimize elk vehicle collisions on Highway 260.
It was a project that was experimental and kind of thinking outside the box.
This 2-lane section of Highway 260 will someday be upgraded to a 4-lane divided highway. But until then, the Arizona Department of Transportation and Game and Fish came together to create a short-term solution. And what they did is something you might expect to see in an urban area.
What we did is we put in an animal-activated crosswalk. So the idea was when animals were funneled down the fence, they would come to a certain area that people could see and motorists could react to.
Infrared cameras and sensors detect when an animal approaches the highway. Lights and electronic message signs are activated, alerting motorists to slow down so that the elk can safely cross the highway. The crosswalk was installed in 2007, and ADOT spokesman Doug Nitzel says that the crosswalk works.
We're really encouraged by what we've seen out here because we know what the numbers are showing. When you have an average of 12 collisions a year between a vehicle and elk, well, then you go from that, and now the results are we've had 1.
Even with the success along this section of Highway 260, Nitzel cautions drivers to be alert when traveling anywhere in northern Arizona.
The reminder is if you're driving out there, you're driving at night, know that there are a lot of areas where elk are crossing highways, and you've got to be cautious. You've got to obey those signs take it easy and stay alert, especially during those nighttime hours.
Reporting east of Payson, Patrick Walker. The days of waiting for the newspaper for the latest news are over. Today, information comes at you as fast as news outlets can publish it. But it's getting even faster, coming at the speed of a bird?
Twitter.
Twitter. Legislators and staff at the Capitol are using Twitter to share information with the masses. Sarah Mensch is the staff member widely credited with helping Democratic legislators in the House get started on Twitter back in 2008.
I have individual meetings with them to see what they can improve on. And so within those meetings, we talked a lot about that. We also had a few trainings on how to best make use of Twitter so that they could inform the public about what they're doing.
A growing number of legislators are tweeting. Half of the state Senate and nearly half of the state House use Twitter. Two of the top tweeters are Senator Ron Gould with nearly 400 tweets and Representative Katie Hobbs with over 450 tweets. Senator Gould likes using Twitter because it is a quick way to share information.
For political organization, it works pretty well because you can shoot a message out real quick, and it's pretty obvious. It's a little more obvious than an email or something where they might not look at for a couple of days.
Representative Katie Hobbs feels it is important to use Twitter because it helps legislators connect with constituents.
And I think to stay relevant as an elected official, it's really important to be on top of kind of the new media, and it's moving so quickly. It's kind of hard sometimes, but it's important, I think, to stay relevant.
Although she likes the connection, Hobbs says that she has to be careful about what she tweets.
As an elected official, there's lots of things I'd want to post or retweet, but I don't. So sometimes I wish I didn't need that filter. But
Legislators are not the only people at the Capitol who tweet on a daily basis. Perhaps the top tweeter works on the top floor of the Executive Tower. Over the past 2 years, Governor Jan Brewer has embraced Twitter and other social media.
I think it's really important as a governor of the state of Arizona that I get my message out there instantaneously. So we Twitter out to everybody and they get that information so much quicker than they actually get it when they wake up in the morning and read the newspaper.
Although she has staff to help her spread her message, the governor says she occasionally logs on to her social media sites to update her followers. Have you ever done any of the tweeting?
I have tweeted and I Facebook too, so I'm just all over the place, or directing people to do it on my behalf.
As of the end of February, Governor Brewer had nearly 18,000 followers on Twitter and more than 370,000 fans on her Facebook page. For ACTV Monthly, Patrick Walker.